Hi everyone, welcome to the stamp of the month for September assembly video. We are going to make these 3 cards that you see in front of you. I think everybody should have their packets by now, either mailed or dropped off, or you've been here to crop, and so I think everybody has their materials by now, but if not, it will be coming probably tomorrow in your mail. So we're going to get it going on these cards. We have two standard size and 1 slim line, so 3 all together. Let me just show you what you need to grab if you haven't already figured that out for yourself. Some of you are so smart on this stuff. So these are the ink pads that I used: Harbor, Mocha, Journey, Mist, and Toffee. Journey is a brand new color, so you might not have this one yet if you haven't added it to your stash, and it's kind of been in and out of availability. So if you don't have this one, I would say that you could absolutely go ahead and use either Mist or Harbor. We're going to use it on this card, but I'll show you how to substitute that. And or if you have another pad that's kind of it's like a teal, then that will be fine too. So those are your ink pads. Obviously you will need to grab your stamp of the month and some blocks. We are using most of those, so we need one that's large for the 2 large stamps, and then maybe a 1 by 3.5 for the sentiments. And then we are going to use the film strip, so you need either a 1 by 6 or a 2 by 6. That should be good. So you need your blocks, and then obviously scissors, and if you like to use it, your 3D foam tape. I've got the thin here because I prefer that for cards, and just a little sponge and your adhesive. And we will need some kind of scrap paper or a mat that you don't mind ruining, because we're going to do a lot of stamping off the paper. On this card, the film strip is going to come off either side. This card, we're going to kind of stamp it off the top, and then this one we do a lot of stamping off. So you really need some kind of a mat or just some scratch paper, and of course, if you're a measurer, a ruler. Okay, so those are your items. You want to get those, and don't forget your stamp cleaner, because we're going to be stamping, so you need your cleaner. I'll get these things out of the way, and we're going to start with this card. This is number 1, so you should have an envelope that has a little 1 in the upper right hand corner, and you will take those pieces out. And there should be 3 little sparkles in there. And we will go ahead and do our stamping prep, and then we'll prep the papers, and then we'll put the card together. So right off the bat, we need that scrap paper and the little piece of white daisy. We need the stamp that has the words in the background with a little floral on it. And that's my Bijou. You get to hear her talking to you. I think I'm going to use the big one for this. It's just easier. With a big stamp like this, the easiest thing to do is put this on by bending it like this. Put it on and then kind of smooth it down. That helps to take any air bubbles out. And if you do look through it and you see it, you can always peel it back up and kind of lay it down, roll it down onto the block, and then you should be pretty good on the air bubbles, you know, not showing up there. Okay. And we are going to use Mist. And Bijou is barking at the deer, and oh my gosh, we have so many deer here. Like, you can't even count them when you look outside, and it drives her absolutely crazy. So I'm just inking up that large stamp in the Mist stamp pad. And I'm going to stamp it so that some of the words are kind of really close to the top there. You're basically just getting this floral frame about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch down on the white piece. Show you that again so you can Make sure you're getting it. What we're trying to do is leave room for the sentiment here. And I use thinking of you, which is the largest sentiment. So if you wanted to use thank you or happy birthday, you wouldn't need to leave quite as much room, but I think that looks good with any of them. So I'm going to ink that up. And I'm sorry if I'm in your way, but we're going to stamp that onto the white daisy piece. It's a big stamp, so give it a good amount of pressure. There's our image. Clean that off. And then we are going to grab the thinking of you. Again, if you want to use these for something else, feel free to do that. Oh, sorry about that. I should probably go shut the door so you can't hear her. And we are going to put away the mist, and we are going to grab the mocha. And ink that one up. And it's going to get stamped right along the bottom. Again, sorry if I'm blocking your view. So there's our thinking of you. And I'm just going to grab these. You guys just hang tight for 1 second. Yep, she's barking at the deer. Sorry. Okay, so we've got our sentiment. Again, you can use whatever sentiment you want. And then I don't know if you can totally see it clearly on here, but on the edges of this white daisy, I have dragged that white daisy through the mocha ink pad. So I'll show you what I did. Grab the pad, take this, and just kind of drag it through there. The more you drag it, the darker it will be. If you really want a lot to show up, you lay it flatter, but you kind of hold it at an angle and just drag it. You can see mine got a little. There's more. There's even more. The more angled you have it, if you angle it up, it won't touch the paper as much and it won't give you as much of that ink on there. If you're laying it flat and dragging it, you're going to have a lot. And that's just kind of a, it's like an antiquing kind of a look. So I've got that one pretty covered. And it just gives it like, it kind of just gives it an antique-y look. I like it. I like that direct, it's called direct to paper technique. It's putting the ink directly on the paper. So we're all set with that. We're going to go ahead and grab the Harbor rectangle cardstock. And as you guys know, I love scissor distressing. So I did scissor distress the Harbor piece. And that is simply running your scissors along the edges until it has kind of a distressed look. And is it totally necessary? It is not, but it's just one of those things I love to do. Again, it kind of ages it, you know, distressing kind of makes it look antique-y or, you know, like a worn look, I guess. I always take my bone folder on the opposite side and then just smooth it back down. You don't really need to do that, but I do it. And then we are all set with our prep. We'll put the sparkles on when we're done. So grab your pieces. And I'm going to put the stripe up in the top corner. Sorry that you're listening to Bijou in the background. Unfortunately, my husband's traveling, so I don't have him to run interference. We've been so busy lately, and we got home from taking a little vacation, and then he had to go right on the road to work. So Bijou's up there entertaining the deer by herself. Alrighty, so get your triangles on there. I try to cut pretty carefully, but if it's a teeny bit off, just make sure that it's on one corner, and then you can, if you need to, you can lay it right down on top so that the other corner matches up, which should be pretty good. So there's our base. I did put 3D foam tape behind the harbor piece, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here and pop that on the card. I'm probably an adhesive overuser. I love to make sure that it's fully covered. I'm not as bad as Karen Pedersen at corporate. If you've watched any of our corporate videos, she like takes the spool and she just goes up and down, up and down, up and down all over. It's kind of crazy, but I don't quite do it that much, but I do love to make sure that it's gonna stay where I want it and not crush down, especially when it's going through the mail. So we're taking our backing off the adhesive, and we're going to place that right centered on this piece, on the base. So it's like about maybe 5/8 or 1/2 inch to 5/8 of an inch from the top and bottom, and it's about 3/8 of an inch from both the sides. There's our prepared piece that we stamped and distressed, and that is going right on the harbor, right in the middle. And then you should have 3 little sparkles, and I have placed 2 of them in the top left. You can place them wherever you'd like. If you have a different idea, go for it. And 1 right in the center of the flower that's in the stamping. So there's our clear sparkles on there. Push them down, and we are set with card number 1. Super simple. I love this stamp with the words and then the floral frame for a background. Just so pretty. If you were doing that with scrapbooking, let's say this envelope is your photo, you can always, you know, stamp that on your scrapbook page and then put your photo here, and then it just gives a nice border for a photo, or this way. Oh, so pretty. I love that. Just is such a nice little stamp to have for background. All right, we are moving on to card number 2. And for this one, I stamped the film strip and the round film strip with toffee, and I stamped our butterfly in mocha. So those are the 2 you're going to need. I stamped the thank you in mocha. If you don't have those, feel free to substitute with something, you know, in the brown family. Should be fine. Grab out your pieces and be careful, because you should have 3 sparkles, and those are our new Journey sparkles, a new color. So we'll put those up there for now. And we're going to grab out, you have 2 pieces of white daisy. One of them fits inside the Journey cardstock, and then you should have a littler one that's probably just a scrap. And I don't seem to have my Journey cardstock here. I'll have to cut another piece. Let's stamp this first and prep this, and then we'll do what, like we did before, we will do our pieces onto the base. So I'm going to set those up there for now. And we want this horizontally. And I'm going to take the toffee, and this time taking this background stamp off, and I'm going to grab the round film strip with the butterfly, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before with those big stamps. Kind of hold it so that it's curved, place the center of it on there, and then just let it roll out, and then that way you shouldn't have any bubbles in there. If you do, just peel it off and then roll it back down and make sure it's on there good. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is the toffee round film strip and the straight film strip. And if you don't have toffee, I think like any chocolatey color or mocha, if you want to use mocha, what I would suggest is just do second generation. Ink it up, stamp it on your scrap, and then you can stamp it on your cardstock. So that would work too if you don't have toffee. If you have the new acorn, that would also work. Okay, we're going to do this one first, and this stamp, we're going to come almost all the way to the bottom with the one petal from the flower, and we're going to go in about almost 1/2 inch. So I'll show you where I'm going to place mine. 1/2 inch in, almost to the bottom, and there are words on there, so it's kind of straight. You kind of want to get it straight. And so there's that. We'll clean that off, and we'll grab the straight piece of film strip, and I've just got my block here. You know, when you're doing a long, skinny stamp, the best way to get that straight on your block back to the shape that it is supposed to be is just to lay it down and then pick it up with your block. Don't try to put this on here. It's too wiggly. You won't be able to get it straight. So if you just put that down and then pick that up with the block, that'll be an easy way to do it. Same color, toffee or acorn. And this is about 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Try to get it straight. And you're noticing probably, well, I just screwed up my butterfly. Well, we're going to cover him up. We're going to cover that with one that we're popping up. So don't worry about that. That's just a little background piece we created. So we're going to clean that off. And I'm just going to leave this toffee open for a second because we are going to do some sponging on here. So, or we're going to do some dragging. So let's go ahead and do that now since we've got the ink pad open. Again, we're just going to take that, hold it at an angle, and drag it across the pad. If you like just a little blind, just drag it lightly, you know, with it standing more upright. If you really like a lot of ink on there, then you put it, you know, more flat and drag it, and you'll get a lot more ink and a lot more splatter. And again, it gives it that kind of antique-y look. I'm just going to do a little bit on here. I'm not going to do as much as I did on the other piece, but obviously the more you do it, the more it'll splatter and the more distressed it looks. Okay, cover that ink pad up. And now we're going to take that little piece that you have that looks like a scrap, and we're going to use the mocha ink. And we're going to take that stamp again, and really all we need is the butterfly. So we're going to stamp that on the scrap, and we're going to cut that out. So don't worry too much about how you're placing it. You just need the butterfly. Oops. Okay. So there he is. We're going to cut him out. I'm not concerned about this because I'm not using the whole thing. We're just going to get the butterfly. I'm actually going to, I don't know why I don't have a piece of Journey here. So hang tight again for me. You guys are getting abandoned tonight, but hang tight. I'm just going to grab a piece of Journey and cut that cardstock for the mat. I don't know how many of you have already added these colors to your stash. So it's the dark side of that we're going to use. And it is 4.5 by 3 1/4. I'll just cut that really quickly. wonder where my piece went. Probably in one of your envelopes. Maybe somebody has two. Somebody probably got two pieces of Journey. This is a really pretty color. It's a really pretty, I think it's more blue than green, but it's a really pretty blue-green color. All right, so here's my butterfly. Oh, one thing I didn't tell you to grab, we're going to use the blending brushes. So if you have a blending brush handy, you'll need that. I don't wash these every time. I just kind of color off with them. So if you do wash it, that's fine. But if not, grab one that you have in the blue family. And then your Journey ink pad. And what we're going to do with this guy is we're just going to give him a little bit of color by using the blending brush. I kind of colored mine quite dark, so you can see that. I gave it a lot of color. If you want just a little color, you know, you tap, tap, tap on here, tap it off because it's going to be really dark. You're picking up that ink, so you don't want to splotch it too much. If you want just a little bit of color, just rub a little bit. It doesn't have to be dark if you don't want it that way. So just rub it a little bit. If you want it darker like mine, you just simply keep at it. And you can do as much or as little as you want of that. I'm just going to leave it there. And then we need to fussy cut this butterfly out. Okay, so I will just cut him quickly. And you are cutting right on the lines this time. So we want to, you know, you don't want to leave, sometimes we leave a little border when we're cutting. Not this time. We want to cut right on the edge of his wings. It's not too intricate cutting though. It's really just, it's pretty easy. So just gonna cut around there. I cannot believe that September's over. We did a lot of traveling and a lot of things this month. That's why this video is a little late in the month, but boy, did that go fast. I bet it did for everybody. All my teacher friends are back to school, and that creates a whole new world when you have to go back after the summer. Alrighty, so here's our butterfly. And really to make it, you know, dimensional, you can put some foam tape behind him to stick him down so that it looks like he's flying. And I probably cut that too big, so I'll trim it off a little, put that down here, put this up here, and peel that off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set that right over the top of the butterfly that's on your stamped piece. So it kind of looks like he's flying. Oops, I got a little too much there. Okay, so we're going to put that down right over the top of where he was on that stamped piece. Okay. This one, the Journey cardstock on the dark side, I again scissor distress that. Optional as always. Blow those little pieces away. We don't need them. Flatten it back down. And this one, I did not use foam tape to put it on. I only did it on the butterfly. So you can go ahead and grab your pieces for your card. And this is the papers that we're using are from the Good Life paper packet. And this goes on about 1/8 of an inch down. And then the others will go right up against there. So that one, then the little Mocha Swiss dot. And my adhesive just ran out. Boy, I'm really having a tough time tonight, aren't I? Can't get it together. Alrighty. I will just grab a refill. Hang tight. You guys are getting sick of hearing that. Give you a chance to catch up if you're behind me, if you're following right along. Alrighty, so get our adhesive back together. And we're gonna add this Mocha dot piece. And like I said, it's gonna go right up next to that other piece. And then we've got this kind of toffee wash, kind of a distressed board looking piece. That's going on next, right up against that Mocha piece. So there's our 3 pieces of B&T. And then on this card too, I use the border. It's kind of a swirly border stamp. So I'll show you how I did that. I actually used Mocha, but I did use 2nd generation because I didn't want it to be too dark. If you like the dark look, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm going to use 2nd generation Mocha just all along the bottom of the card base itself. So ink that up and then stamp it off. And that's going to give you the 2nd generation look. Stamp it along the bottom. Do that same thing again. Ink it up. Stamp it off. And stamp that down right next to it. So you've got the border all the way across. Okay. And then we're going to take these 2 pieces, put down our Journey cardstock. It's centered about a 1/2 inch down from the top, a little less. And then we're going to put this down. And we're going to stamp our sentiment, which I forgot. I used Thank You on this one. And I used Mocha, the darker brown. So we will take off our little border and I stamped it kind of right into the film strip circle there. So I wanted it to kind of run into that, so I stamped it right here. Okay. Alrighty. That's that one. Oh, got to do our little sparkles. So you should have 3, and I placed 2 up above the sentiment. So here, a bigger one, and then a littler one. I'll put that over here, and then a bigger one down by the butterfly. So that is number 2, and we are all finished. Okay, so then we're going to start number 3, and that is a slimline card. And where is my card? Oh, here we go. Here we go.